Okay, so today's lesson is going to be about poetry. We're going to read a poem by Robert Frost. It's called Fire and Ice. And we're going to learn about tone, contrast, and how these two things impact the meaning of the poem. So let's take a look. First, I want you to think about, we're going to activate your prior knowledge. Okay, what do you know about fire? What does it represent or symbolize to you? So we know fire is hot. We know fire can consume things. We know fire destroys things, but it also can mean passion. So think about fire. What does it mean to you? And then think about ice. What does ice represent or symbolize? It's kind of the opposite of fire, right? We know that. It's hard, it's cold. What else do you know about ice? What does it make you think about? Okay, so you thought about fire, you thought about ice, you've activated your prior knowledge and understanding about those two topics. And now let's read the poem. Okay, it's important to know before we get started that Robert Frost lived a long time ago and he was an American poet. So he's here, or he did live here in America. He represented rural life in New England. So we're talking about East Coast in the middle of nowhere and just kind of ordinary everyday people. Okay. We're going to read the poem Fire and Ice, and we're going to read it out loud. Well, I'm going to read it out loud, and you're going to listen. Fire and Ice. Some say the world will end in fire. Some say in ice. From what I've tasted of desire, I hold with those who favor fire. But if it had to perish twice, I think I know enough of hate to say that for destruction ice is also great and would suffice. That is the poem. That's it. It's not very long. What do you think Fire and Ice is about? What are your first impressions of the poem? So he's talking about the world ending. He's talking about passion, love, desire, and then he's talking about hate. So to me, those are two opposites, as fire and ice are also two opposites. So that's what it makes me think of, opposites. So let's look at the poem and talk about the rhyme scheme. So poems that rhyme have a rhyme scheme or a pattern. And the pattern here is, let's pick a color. We got yellow. Okay. It's not letting me look at here we go. Some say the world will end in fire. Okay. Some say ice. From what I've tasted of desire, desire and fire rhyme. I hold with those who favor fire. So these three words rhyme. Fire, desire, fire. But if it had to perish twice, now we see twice rhymes with ice. I think I know enough of hate, that doesn't rhyme with any of these, to say that for destruction, ice is also great. Hate, great. Those two rhyme, so we need another color. And would suffice. So suffice and ice. So we have three types of rhyming words here. We have A is yellow. So all of the words that rhyme with fire are A's. We have B is red. All the words that rhyme with ice are B's. And then we have hate and great, which are green, and they'll all be C's. So our rhyme scheme or our rhyme pattern is A, B, A, B, C, B, C, B. So it's A, B, B, C, B, C, B. That's our rhyme scheme or our pattern. All right, imagine and discover. Fire and ice and desire and hate are two sets of opposites used in Frost's poem that deal with the end of the world. However, the tone of the poem and its language are simple. This provides yet another contrast with the serious topic of the poem. So, tone describes the way he's saying it. So, he's talking about the end of the world, but he's talking about it in kind of a flippant way. He's not very serious about it. He's kind of just saying it very matter of fact. Like, well, if the world were to end, what would be better, fire or ice? He doesn't seem all that serious or worried about it. So, what kind of image does Frost portray of humanity by using opposites like fire and ice? Is he optimistic, pessimistic, or indifferent? Optimistic means he has a good outlook. Pessimistic means he has a really negative outlook. And indifferent means he just doesn't really care either way. So if he only offers us two extremes, fire or ice, there's no kind of gray area in the middle, what does that say about his outlook on humanity? All right, let's reflect. How might Robert Frost have influenced other writers who came after him? Do you think the meaning of fire and ice is relevant for us today? Why or why not? What questions do you still have? The end.